Hi, welcome back to the Expedition 5. Today I'm going to be talking about, or unpacking, our visit to Karijini National Park. There's a fair bit involved in it, just because there are a few different ways to get there, and Google is most definitely not your friend heading this direction. So we went from Port Hedland. I know a few people go from, or a lot of people go from Karratha, which there's Tom Price Road, or it might be called Rio Tinto Road, which I believe there's a fee you have to pay to use that road. I think it's apparently a decent dirt track to get down there, and then there's the way from Exmouth, but I'll talk about that when I talk about leaving Karijini or Tom Price heading towards Exmouth. But we came from Port Hedland, which is a nice easy trip straight down the Great Northern Highway. The entire way we stayed at Dales, is sealed. You get to about 30 kilometres before the turn off to Dales, and there's a petrol station. Highly recommend that you fill up here. There's also a bit of confusion here with Google, because it tells you to turn right onto the Nanatara Mangina Road, and you can get to Dales that way. From my understanding, that is not the case. You can't do that. You have to continue down the Great Northern Highway. So you fill up, continue down about 30 kilometres after. On the right, you'll come up to a right-hand turn onto Karijini Drive, and then that gets you to Dales. Dales is a pretty good free camp. There's heaps of free camping spots around. We went in October, November, so it's getting quite hot around the 40-degree mark, so not that pleasant during the day. It did cool down at night for us. We booked a spot that allowed us to use our generator, so we used the generator to cool the van down in the afternoon, so that worked out pretty well. There's also a good place to access Fern Pool, which the kids love swimming in. It was nice and cold, and there was plenty of little fish swimming around, which they didn't like so much. Also Fortescue Falls. Just be mindful, it is really steep. A couple of days after we'd been there, I think the SES had to rescue someone out of there. So yeah, just be mindful walking down there. But our kids are 4, 5 and 9, so they managed to walk down to Fern Pool quite easily. It's quite accessible. And that is also where Dales Gorges. For those that have watched some of my videos or have followed us a little bit on Facebook or Instagram, you know I love my drone. There is big signs saying up no drone use. Couldn't really find any regulations on WA national parks. I spoke to some, I guess I don't know if they're rangers or people that work for Karijini National Parks, and they just said no, they're banned, even though they had a drone, I guess, doing research or whatever else. But they said, yeah, can't fly it. So even though I couldn't find regulations, I thought best not to do it. The guy kind of did say to me, well, if you do it, who would know? No one was around, but they said no, so I'll stick to the no advice. After that, the following day, we decided on Dales because it was probably one of the better places to explore most of the gorges. So we did Kalamina, Weeno and Hancock all from Dales, and we did them in the one day. They kind of all go along the one road. So leaving Dales, hit Bajima Drive, which gets you to the visitor centre. About 100 metres after the visitor centre is where you need to let your tyres down because you're about to hit a dirt road. I've seen heaps of comments and stuff of people saying it's a pretty good road. You can take your caravan on it. I would highly recommend not taking caravan on it. I found it the most corrugated road we've probably hit driving around in what we've done. We haven't done super corrugations, but we didn't do the gib, stuff like that, but this was pretty bad, especially in certain patches you have to slow right down. So I would avoid going this way with a caravan. I know you can follow Karijini Drive around all the way, and then if you're going to Eco Resort, it's about 3k of dirt, and even that was really corrugated, so just be really careful if you're going to Eco. But anyway, we continued on to Kalamina Gorge. Getting in there with the kids, really steep, but once we were down in the gorge, it was pretty easy to access. Walking around, there's heaps of rocks and stuff, so that they still need to be mindful about where they're walking. But we didn't spend too much time down there because it was so hot. way to Weno and Hancock. They're literally like right next to each other. They use the same car park pretty much. So we did Weno first because we saw there was a handrail pool. There's advice signs up, don't swim in there. It does look pretty festy, I wouldn't be swimming in there. But because there was such little water around, it hasn't rained for ages, it was really easy for us. So once again, it's steep access to get down to Weno. Turn right, that's how you get to the handrail pool. It's only I think it says a 1.5 kilometre return. It's literally 700 metres. It wasn't a very long walk. Took our kids maybe 15 minutes to get to the handrail pool. We had a bit of a look around, took some photos and whatever else, and then headed back. We didn't continue on down to the left. I guess as you come down into Weno Gorge, it's a fair bit of a hike. We've kind of seen the handrail pool and what we wanted to see, and it was too hot. They were looking to get back into the car to get the aircon going, so we headed back up the steep hill and gave them a bit of a break because it was pushing about 42 degrees I think on that day. I went and checked out Hancock Gorge myself before I took them, and I kind of realised that they were no chance. There was about 6 big steep ladders. I guess that's the only way a ladder can be steep, but ladders that you'd have to climb down, as well as some steep rocks to then get all the way to the bottom of the gorge. Once you were down the bottom, nice flat, easy to walk around, a little bit of water here and there, but there's no way my 3 would have all got down into Hancock Gorge. So I got back to the car and told them that we'd give it a miss and we'd head back. Now heading back, as I said, that road between the visitor centre and going to the gorges was that actually corrugated. I decided not to go that way, so I just hit the sealed road, pumped up the tyres, and went back around Karijini Drive, just because I didn't really want to go through all those bumps and corrugations again. After we did those, we went and made our way to Tom Price. The access from Tom's Price to Hammersly is quite good. So you head out towards the Nanaturra Mungina Road, and it's dead set like a highway from Tom Price to Hammersly Gorge. It was flat. There was no bumps whatsoever. It wasn't until we then turned onto the National Park Road to go to Hammersly Gorge that it got pretty kind of bumpy. But this was probably the best gorge for the kids. Once again, it was steep to get down into the gorge. We went early in the morning to try and avoid the heat, which was good as well because there wasn't as many people there. So we kind of got there, found a nice little swimming area, jumped in there for a swim. I went for a bit of a hike to find the spa pool, which I did. Really cool to see. I hadn't my good camera on me, so I didn't really want to jump in the water. But if I'd taken the kids for a hike, easiest way to access that and get photos, make sure you'd have like a waterproof case or something for your camera, then swim across the top pool. It was a bit of rock climbing, a bit of hiking to get over the rocks, and I could imagine even more so if there was more water if it rained a little bit. A few people had some flotation devices and stuff to float across the top pool to then make it to the spa pool. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. It's something that I'd highly recommend to try and do when you're there, and I'd probably do that again next time, is take a floaty or some sort of waterproof pack to put my camera in so I could go swimming in that pool as well. But no, the kids really loved it there. Then we packed up after about an hour and a bit and then headed off back home. Tom Price, once again, it's kind of a little mining town, but plenty there. There's at least some shops and whatever else to stock up on groceries and whatever else. On the way out though, I think Google wants you to go to the Nunatarra Mangina Road. Although it was nice and smooth going from Tom Price to Hammersly Gorge, someone had told us that it's not that smooth going the other way. It's highly recommended that on the way out, you go out through Parabadoo, and that way you kind of go, it's a little bit longer, but it's sealed road the whole way, you don't hit any dirt, and that's going out obviously towards the Exmouth Way. Well, we went to Ballara Station first, but heading out that way, go to Parabadoo, it's all sealed and you won't hit any dirt. One of the other things at Dales, there is dingoes, so once again just be dingo aware. But yeah, the place is gorgeous, definitely worth going to see through as many gorges as you can access depending upon the age of your kids. Yeah, but definitely something to check out when you're in WA.